ladies and gentlemen, as you can see right here, we should have Luke Silka. Luke, how are you, my guy? How's it going?
It's going good. It's going great.
Hey, that's great. So, hey, man, let's jump into it. I haven't really talked to you in a while, obviously, about everything going on in the country right now. So, just kind of give me your thoughts. And while you do that, I'm going to plug your Twitter. You guys can see on the screen. Follow Luke at the Wolfpack4415. With that being said, yeah, Luke, just give me your thoughts on what's going on in the world right now, man.
Well, it's definitely a crazy time right now that we're dealing with. Obviously, with COVID-19, which can be debated on how that's being handled. Some people say, it's not being handled the greatest. I tend to go on the camp of the sides that we could have done situations that have, like, we could have done a better situation. We could have had the shutdown not affect us as much. Like, we shouldn't have shut down all the businesses. I think that was a bad move. But all in all, there's other stuff that's more important than COVID right now with all this Black Lives Matter stuff that you can agree with it. You can't agree with it, some of the stuff. But sometimes you have to look at what's happening. And a lot of stuff is going on right now. It's really, really crazy.
Yeah, so, Luke, I said to start my show, I said, one of the big things going on in this country right now is I believe social media is the worst part about this country right now. I believe that social media is the reason why we have so much division in this country. Not so much politics. Everybody has agreed and disagreed on politics and sports before. But when you give people power that shouldn't be in power, and we've seen that across states, we've seen it across everywhere, and with social media, you get people who just want to type away and just go, you're wrong. Instead of saying, you know what? Yeah, I disagree with you, but I can at least respect your opinion. We don't get that in this country anymore.
I really think it's because people are behind the screen and they're not doing it like this. Like, at least with this, I can see your face. If I'm telling you something, you're gonna see me, and we're gonna have a discussion, and it feels more real than just someone behind a Twitter screen, behind a Twitter handle that literally you don't know if it's a random bot or if it's an actual person actually saying this, and that's what it gives them a sense of protection. But come say it to my face. You want to tell me that I'm a evil, racist bigot? You come tell me to your face. 99% of the time, they ain't gonna do that to you.
Exactly. So, all right, I got to get your thoughts on this. We just wrapped up the Republican National Convention last night. Obviously, we wrapped up the Democratic National Convention the week before. When you compare, as our president calls him, Sleepy Joe Biden, with the president's speech and everything's going on in the world, I know that you are a big Trump supporter. Man, this election's going to get crazy. I mean, I'm just going to say, I know there's a lot of people right now that are undecided. I know a lot of people are very critical of the way that Trump's handled the coronavirus situation. But I just think these debates, man, I think once the people see the first debate and they see Joe Biden and they go, man, that dude really can't finish a sentence. I think it's going to be over.
I think I tweeted it very, very, very eloquently when I said the people that are excited about Joe Biden are worse off than Joe Biden himself. If you can go out there and legitimately believe in your heart that this dude can run the highest office in the land and actually competently do that, have nuclear capability at the press of a button, basically, that he could do that. Donald Trump can do that. So you have to say, who do you want in there? Someone that is incompetent, someone that can't finish their sentence, someone that confused his own wife for his daughter, or Donald Trump, which for the past 4 years has proven that he will not escalate situations. We just had Russian troops attack us in Syria. You don't see us in a war with Syria. We're not, or in a war with Russia, sorry. So there's a lot of complications going on. A lot of people like to attack Trump, say he's not hard on Russia right now because of the situation. Well, I don't feel like getting in a World War III. I know most of the country doesn't feel like getting in a World War III. They're just saying that to attack him on basically anything. That's really current events right now. That literally just happened, I believe, in the past couple of hours. So we'll see how that turns out. But as long as with Joe Biden, I think the first debate is going to be epic. This is going to be better than Hillary Clinton's debate. It's going to be this is going to be the best thing by far, because if you watch like a 7-minute clip of Joe Biden try to speak, you can literally create an ad about him not being the president. Like you can create an ad for Trump using only Joe Biden. It's hilarious.
Absolutely. So, I've seen a lot of criticism, mainly from the left, about Trump's speech last night. I've seen a lot of criticism saying that it was very low energy, that he didn't have the same, Trump, I guess, things that usually he has. I didn't get that. At first, I felt it a little bit, but as he started talking, I think the energy really picked up. The sense I got from his speech last night was he's angry, he's upset, and I know that the way he's thinking is like, man, I know my promise in 2016 was make America great again. And if you notice, the campaign was originally going to be keep America great until the coronavirus hit. And that's what I've been telling people that have been very critical of his 2020 campaign, that's make America great again. They're saying, well, he said that in 2016, now it's not really great. And I said, well, it was great. Our country was great again until the coronavirus hit, and now we have to rebuild our country. Your thoughts?
I thought the speech was really a good speech, and to say that okay, so you have to compare apples to oranges here. Donald Trump's speech, it's not a teleprompter speech. Like you know that from the way he never reads off of a teleprompter. Joe Biden, just comparing it, if you watch this speech on the DNC, I don't know if you did or not, but he's reading from a script. I mean, that's how you have to judge this stuff, and you have to judge that. Say, yeah, he has the mental capability to read from a teleprompter, but does he have the mental capability to be the president of the United States? I believe that Donald Trump, with the "Make America Great Again" thing, you go with what's not broken. That's what I'm saying. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. There's no reason to fix it right now. It's a great slogan. It's catchy, and that's all that really matters to get people to the polls and to know what Trump wants to do, and he wants to make this country great. And the people that blame him because of the coronavirus don't know what they're talking about, because this dude tried to ban all Chinese. All Chinese people visiting from China. He tried to ban everyone before the coronavirus even happened. And they were giving him shit on that because they thought it was racist. And now they're like, oh, you didn't do enough. You didn't ban him soon enough. Well, it's a disease. It's not like it's something that he has control over. I don't think Hillary Clinton would have done any better job. Like that's what we have to measure this up at. Would Hillary Clinton have done better? I think she wouldn't have.
Exactly. I think part of the criticism, especially for where I'm living at in Ohio, and I've seen, I'll be honest with you, man, I've seen a lot more Joe Biden signs than I did Hillary signs in 2016. In the same households that I saw Trump signs, I'm seeing Joe Biden signs. That does concern me a little bit, and I think it has to do with the fact that people felt like he should have been, bigger on the mask mandate. He should have been doing more stuff like that to control the virus. I think that's where most of the anger is with him, and coming in that is they're saying, okay, everybody from Dr. Fauci to all these medical experts are saying, wear masks, we can control this virus, and you're just ignoring that.
My take on that is, yeah, it's basically a two-way sword. So maybe you're experiencing more Joe Biden signs. I don't think I've seen a Joe Biden sign. I may have seen one Joe Biden flag, but it's extremely rare. Trump has no president in history, by the way, has parades for him. There's been endless parades. I'm in New Jersey right now, and I would think, okay, New Jersey, very, very liberal. Let me go outside, see what's going on. Dude, I can't find a place where there ain't a Trump flag, and it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. We'll be in a boat going down the inlet, and there'll be hundreds of Trump flags lined up on the side. There was just a big parade out there a couple of days ago. So yeah, it's definitely like selective view. I guess you can find areas that are more Joe Biden-esque. Going with the mask thing that you were talking about, honestly, I don't think the mask thing is really like. Yes, I support it in a way to where I think that if we would have done it sooner, and if we would have done it like a little different than how we did. It could have worked, but you're not telling me that a child is going to wear a mask, a 2-year-old is going to wear a mask and actually wear it, or some of these adults. If one person doesn't wear that mask, it's ineffective. So you can't just do that over 330 million people because they're not going to listen to you unless you start literally putting guns to people's heads and saying that. But then we have a constitution. I think that right now the coronavirus has like a 1%, I think 0.01% death ratio. The survival rate is very high, and the people that are dying are people with prior illnesses. So take it as you be. Yes, death is bad, but it's going to happen either way, and this is a major disease that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I guess now going to my next question would be about the election in general now. I've heard some rumblings that your home state of Georgia may become more of a swing state. I've heard that about Texas as well. Are there any states that you thought either way that are for sure blue, that are for sure red, that may become a swing or may change that you're keeping your eye on?
I'm definitely keeping my eye on Georgia. I'm definitely keeping my eye on Texas. I just want to see what happens in those states. Honestly, if Texas becomes more blue, we're kind of screwed in the way of how are we going to find another state? Like that's a lot of electoral votes you're going to lose there. I don't think it's going to happen in this election, but I would keep my eye on that for sure. Another state I'm going to look at is Nevada. Trump came close last time. Maybe this time he could win Nevada. And New Hampshire is another state that he could possibly um, win because he was very close last time. Pennsylvania is another big battleground state that you're going to look at. It's Biden's hometown, and it's going to be hard for honestly, it's going to be hard for Trump to hold on to that because Biden has home court advantage there. But we're going to keep, hopefully, we're going to try and keep what we had in the 2016 election. We got to work on the Rust Belt, as you said. I think Ohio is solidly in the bag just because it went for Trump so much in 2016 and the percentage and how it went in 2018 during the elections that happened in 2018. I think it's on a trend to go more Republican than it usually does. And it's turning into a safe red state. But as you said, Georgia has a higher population than most other states, even liberal states, and it's starting to swing more to the left. I still think it is a Republican state, a Republican likely. I'd put it in a likely column, but it's definitely, if you had the right candidate, if you had a Jimmy Carter, for example, who did win it back whenever he ran, um, that'd be before Reagan, uh, you could see it swing blue. I mean, that we're starting to see it to where these candidates, just like the governor's race, was very, very close. So I would keep an eye on those states that I mentioned.
So, with that being said, we know Trump officially won in a landslide in 2016. I think it was 307 votes or something along that line. I I can't decide between either it's going to be the biggest Trump landslide I've ever seen, or if it's going to be very, very close. Because I think the debate, I wrote, and I said this, like I said, when we started this, I think the debate's going to be a big thing. But the thing I'm also worried about is the absentee ballots and the potential mail-in voting with the coronavirus. I am a little bit worried about that because I feel like people are going to vote before the first debate. And it may make this, a little bit closer than maybe we'd expect. I don't really know what to think.
I'm really, honestly, I don't even think I don't think you should be able to vote before a first debate. That's kind of, to me at least, that's kind of moronic because you don't even know what you're getting into. This dude, we haven't seen we know Trump's policies. We haven't seen Biden's policies. Yes, we've seen him as VP, but he's done very, very, very little to actually. He's been in politics for 47 years, but it's like, how are you going to be as a president? That's what I want to know. I want to at least give us one debate to where we can decide. Then, yeah, it's fine. But we've also seen voter fraud happen, and it's a very legitimate question that Trump is asking about the Postal Service. What are you doing to protect those ballots that we have seen him literally retweet parts where these ballots aren't even getting casted until 2 or 3 months after the time that they were delivered there. And in some cases, they were just sitting in the post office and no one was doing anything. So you got to take that into accountability. I'm definitely worried about mail-in votes. I think that we have more of enthusiasm when it comes to people going out and supporting Trump. Because if you really, really like Trump, you're going to go out and vote for him. But it's a double-edged sword because if you hate him, you're going to go out and vote against him. So you got to keep an eye on those type of things.
Right. My thing is, I think when Corona first hit, I think it took a lot of Trump's momentum a little bit because of the fact that he wasn't doing rallies. The big thing that helped Trump in 2016, I believe, are those rallies. I mean, every time I watch a rally, I want to run for a brick wall for the man. I am excited. I'm ready to go out and vote for him. And we haven't really gotten that. We got one rally, and it was a really good rally. A few people got COVID from it, and then the whole rally thing kind of got shut down again. I think it actually hurt Biden as well because he hasn't been able to do anything, and he has no idea how to even. He's been stuck in his basement for 5 months now. So, I mean, when you look at this though, it's like, do you see the same enthusiasm from Trump that you saw 4 years ago?
Well, now, since we live in such a different world because of COVID, you got to look at what is happening online. You have to look and see how many people are watching him online because that is where it counts the most. Record ratings, okay? So that's what I'm looking at when I see enthusiasm. Yeah, people are scared because of COVID, but I still see that enthusiasm. Like I said, there's been a bunch of Trump rallies, like parades that I'm talking about. Like I personally witnessed a parade, and it was one of the crazy. I've never seen anything in my lifetime. There's never been a single president in history that's had a parade like Donald Trump. Literally every day, this dude has parades going on across the country. So it's kind of crazy. The people that support him love him. That's where his enthusiasm is going to come from. And you just got to think, how many people are really, really, like, honestly, really excited for Joe Biden? Not a lot of people. He didn't pick a vice president that was like a progressive, so that's going to hurt him with the progressive community and younger base. And Kamala Harris, I don't think was the right pick. Yes, she hits the check marks. She's a woman. She's African American, I guess. I think she's Jamaican, but she's technically not African American, but we can debate that again. But it's just, you have to look at enthusiasm. Whose base is more enthusiastic? And I think it's Trump's.
Right. Okay, so let's move on because we got about 10 minutes left. I want to talk to you a little bit about the NBA and the NFL. For the NBA specifically, when you see, the names on the back of these guys' jerseys, when you're watching the games, you see the Black Lives Matter on the NBA court. I mean, I saw your tweet the other night where you said that the NBA and ESPN are pretty much unwatchable. And I know that you as a Georgia guy, I know that your Hawks were not invited to the bubble. So have you seen any of the bubble? Have you watched the NBA? I mean, what's your whole take on it?
All right, so I've paid very minimal attention to the bubble. I've watched games. I've watched the Lakers. I've watched, I think, the Jazz. I've watched a couple of teams in there. I just can't. I can't when ESPN talks 24/7 political propaganda, even if you agreed with them. Let's say I was a complete leftist and I agreed with them all the way. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. You got to lose your mind, and then on the court is worse. They if they would award that stuff for like the first game like baseball did, and then it goes. This is supposed to be a place where politics doesn't come here, and the fact that they are using this as like, oh, you're not going to be distracted by this. We're going to shove this in your face every 24/7. I think is a very big mistake. They're going to lose a lot of fans because of this, and honestly, it hurts them because I think their attendance was down in the first place, and having this much politics inside of this does not help them. Hopefully, the NFL won't go down this path to where they're actually allowing them to put that on their jerseys. I think that's also another dumb move, that they just plaster everything on the court and act like it's okay. Personally, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's a good idea, but it's not up to me. It's always, as always, it's up to the big wigs that apparently care so much about the Black Lives Matter community that they won't do anything about it, but say that they will.
Right. Well, I said this. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I understand why they did it. And, if they're going to continue this message, then to me, that's the whole reason why you went down to this bubble. You said you were only going to go down to the bubble if you were insured, your social justice advocates, or however you want to put it. And then what happened on Wednesday was just absurd. I mean, it's like you went down to this bubble to use your platform. Now you're saying that platform's not enough, and now you want to come back? Like, I don't get the messaging. And the shooting happened on Monday. Why are we waiting until Wednesday? Why are we waiting until Wednesday?
Why are we acting like this? That Jacob Blake, who was the person who was involved in the shooting, was a hero when actually he was being arrested on a rape charge. Let's put it how it is.
Yep, you're right.
And the fact that everyone is acting like, oh, he was so innocent and he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was being arrested for a rape charge. He did not cooperate with the arrest. He was starting to leave the arrest. They tased him, shrugged off the taser. Oh, but I thought we couldn't. I thought we had to use the unlethals on them. It doesn't work. That's why we don't use unlethal weaponry on people. It's because it doesn't work, as you saw with Jacob Blake. Then he starts leaving, enters his car. As you can see, he's reaching into the driver's side to pick up what we now know was a knife. If I'm that cop, obviously I'm not going to let him get close enough to stab me. He has the authority to put rounds on him. The reason he shot 7 rounds is because you are trained. I'm in the Coast Guard. You are trained to stop the threat. You are trained to eliminate the threat. You're not trained to just put one shot in his leg and maybe he's okay and we're going to see what's going to happen. No, because it doesn't work like that. You are trained to stop the threat immediately, no matter their race, color, creed. White people are treated the same as black people in this country when it comes to police officers. It just happens to be the fact that blacks commit more crimes than white people. It might sound wrong to say it like that, but it's the truth.
It's a fact. All right, well, I want to ask you a football-related question. I know we haven't done any football at all, but let's actually get to a football-related question here. Your Patriots, man. There's no Tom Brady anymore. Spoiler alert for those of you that are going to stick around for the last part of the segment. I am doing my best NFL over-under for each division this year. Man, they got New England at 9.5 wins. I don't even see how they get 6 wins. I mean, I'm just being honest, man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but your team, I don't care who the quarterback is. You do not have anybody that can separate one-on-one physically, and you lost a lot of defensive players this year because of opting out. I just think New England's going to be like, you know what, we're going to play hard, we're going to win a couple games, we're going to see where we go, we're going to retool this thing. I don't see it. I think 3rd or 4th place at best in the AFC East. I don't see it this year. I don't.
I honestly, I don't know how to take it right now. I really don't, because I know I trust in Belichick. Do I trust in Cam Newton? Not really. I trust that maybe Belichick will work with him to get him in the system, and he could shine. I think the defense stayed the same mostly, so I don't really see the defense changing. And we had one of the better defenses in the league last year. The only reason why Tom Brady was able to make it to the playoffs was because his defense was on fire most of the year. We saw his offense. He didn't have any weapons. N'Keal Harry was hurt, though. We had a lot of people hurt, offensive line that was hurt, and some of those guys are going to be coming back. But I do see what you're saying. It's going to be tough for us to have a winning season, but you have to think we are in a weaker division, so maybe that could play to our advantage.
Yeah, but, okay, so I want to quickly here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Here's your guys' schedule, okay? Your first 10 games. Miami at home, at Seattle, home against Las Vegas, at Kansas City, home against Denver, San Francisco, at Buffalo, at the Jets, hosting Baltimore, and at Houston. I mean, to me, it is the toughest schedule by far in the NFL, and I can see maybe 3 to 4 wins out of those first 10 games. That's it. I mean, you're not going to go to Seattle and win, in my opinion. You're not going to go to Kansas City and win, in my opinion. I don't think you can beat San Francisco at home. I think Buffalo is much more improved. I don't think you can beat Baltimore, and I don't think you can beat Houston. I think that's 6 automatic losses.
Um, I I I can personally see us beating Houston. That's the only one of you said that I could personally see it going a 50-50 chance. Not a 50-50, but more of a chance of us beating them than
I
not.
mean, to me, from what I've seen, Deshaun Watson has played you guys twice. You guys are 1-1 against Deshaun Watson, but each time Deshaun Watson has led New England up. And now this time it's without Tom Brady. Maybe by week 10 you guys will get the offense going, but it is in Houston. It is in a dome. The weather's not going to matter. Now Houston doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins anymore, but they still have guys like Kenny Stills and Brandon Cooks and those guys that are kind of B plus receivers. Look, I'm not saying Houston's a good football team. I just think they're better than New England.
Yeah. I mean, they got rid of Hopkins, so you got to think that's going to take away a lot of their firepower. But honestly, I do think that they are a better football team than New England right now. I think a lot of teams are. I don't think getting rid of Brady was a good idea. I think with that situation, it was mostly Belichick's fault because he was trying to think, oh, I can win without Brady. Brady was like, no, you can't. Unless you give me this contract, I'm going to go to Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is the team to watch. Honestly, if Tom Brady wins a championship at Tampa Bay, it's in the bag. He'd be the greatest quarterback of all time. No one's going to argue if he wins at Tampa Bay because then he did it without Belichick. So there's a couple teams to watch. Do I think that Tampa Bay is the best team in the league? I don't know. Honestly, Kansas City's pretty freaking good.
I don't think Tampa Bay's even the best team in their division. I think the Saints confuse me. 1 year the Saints are going to collapse. It's coming. It is coming. One of these years, I predicted it for the last 3 years. The Saints are collapsing one of those years. But I'm just like, I look at the team and I'm like, oh, they still got Drew Brees, still got Michael Thomas, they got Emmanuel Sanders, they got Cam Jordan, they got Malcolm Jenkins. I'm like, this team is good, but they're not that good, but yet they win games every year.
Yeah, the Saints are always a team that mind boggles me because 1 year you think, oh, they're not going to do good. They don't. They do great. 1 year, oh, this team is going to go all the way. What happens? They don't make
And they're
it.
7-9.
So it's like,
so, yeah. I will say this. I think early in the year this year, because of COVID, hopefully we get the whole season in. But I think early in the year, because of no training camp, because of no preseason, because of all that, the better coaching matchup, and again, you give me Belichick against most of these coaches, if it's an even match on paper, I'm going to take New England just because of the coaching, especially early in the year. Miami week 1, I think you could almost put that as an automatic W for New England. Even though Miami is improved, you got Belichick week 1 coming out, more experience. He's going to know what he's doing. That, to me, like, you have to take that into account. The first 4 weeks of the season, which is usually, preseason and training camp and all that, is going to be coaches versus coaches more than team versus team, in my opinion.
I think because of COVID, it actually makes that even more because these players are not going to. You really think Troy is going to Tolova? I think that's how you say his last name. You really think he's going to come out and wow everyone in his first game in the NFL? No, he's going to go out there to a rude awakening. He's going to go out to a hard New England defense, and I don't think that he's going to have the best outing in the first couple of games. He might have a better season as he progresses. I don't think he's going to come out like Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's going to come out like the Arizona quarterback. I honestly, I don't think that he's going to be this big star like Patrick Mahomes. I think that a lot of these rookies are going to struggle this year because of COVID. They don't have that preseason. They don't have that training that's coming up, and it's going to hurt them. It's going to be a lot of weight on the coaches, and it's going to be really, we're going to see who made the right coaching decisions this year, like who got new coaches. Can the Browns do better this year with their new head coach? It's just a lot of that's going to be coaching decisions.
I agree. All right, hey, Luke, I got to run. Thank you for talking with me, my man. Hey, we'll chat anytime. I'm sure we'll be chatting closer to the election season. Can't wait. It's going to be fun.
All the time. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. No problem. You guys make sure you follow Luke on Twitter at the Wolfpack4415. We'll be back. Friends World after this.